Hi everyone, and I just wanted to finally make this video and share with you top 5 things that surprised me in England. So my name is Tatiana, I'm Ukrainian. So the thing number 1 that shocked me is the houses. Yes, I heard there's a Georgian style architecture that people live in houses, not in the block of flats, and it was absolute shock for me because what I knew about England before moving here. I knew about the monarchy, I knew about the pubs, obviously pub culture, I knew about stunning nature, about football, but I had no idea about, where people live and how their houses look. And so before moving to Bournemouth, I remember I looked it up and I saw just tiny houses everywhere and no like skyscrapers, no tall buildings, almost none. And I was like, is it a town? Because in Ukraine, you see houses only in villages. So I thought I'm gonna live in a village. And then it turned out that no, this is a city with 200,000 residents and it's not a village at all. That's why I was so surprised with how tiny houses are, but now I really love it. And honestly, even when I lived in Ukraine, I always dreamed about living in a house, because block of flats is all right, but house is better, definitely better. I love it here, and this fireplace, and you have your private entrance, your own beans even. It does feel like you have your own house, even though I live on the first floor only, but it still feels like my house. The thing that surprised me the most in England, number 2, it's weather. Yes, look how sunny it is. Just look. It's absolutely incredible weather. And what I heard is that it's always raining in England. Like, oh, England means it's constantly grey and it just rains cats and dogs. And then it turns out this is not true at all. And I was surprised that it's actually quite sunny and very nice. So obviously, I live in Bournemouth. I live in the south of England, but still, this is absolutely amazing. This is quite sunny. The only thing that is true is that the weather changes a lot. So it can be sunny now, but in 5 minutes it can start raining, and then it's sunny again, and then it's raining again. Just a few days ago, I wanted to go to the beach, and I was all ready, put my coat in, and then I go outside and it's raining, even though 5 minutes ago it was all sunny. And then the rain started and finished about like 5-7 times in just one day. So, but what do you want? If you live at the coast, if you live on the island, the weather changes very quickly. The thing that surprised me the most in England, number 3, it's humor. Actually, English people are very funny. Because again, probably it's like a misconception, but before moving here, I heard that people here are very cold. They're like never smiling, never making any jokes, very like cold. For me, that's what I thought, because that was like a stereotype, and it's so wrong. It can't be more false, because the moment I arrived at Stansted Airport, I met people and they were all making jokes. The first woman I spoke to, the bus driver, even though I couldn't understand what the bus driver said because I couldn't understand the language, and even now it can be very tricky, the accent, but the whole bus laughed and I was like, oh, right, okay, so they're not that cold actually. And then the more I learn about this country, the more people I meet, the more I become absolutely confident and sure that English people have great humor. I love it, I absolutely love it. And even now, I sometimes, when I speak with my parents from Ukraine, we have like phone calls, I make jokes and they look at me like, it's so funny, and I'm like, oh, you don't understand English humor, because I really get it now and I love it. The thing that surprised me the most in England, number 4, I would say it's following the rules. They're very, very strict. You have to follow the rules. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you have to cross the road on the green light. You can cross whenever, even though in Poland and even in Ukraine, you can get a fine for crossing the road on the red light. In England, you can do whatever. But when it comes to other things, like for instance, I was kicked out of the pub on my first night out in England. It was shocking. Let me quickly tell you this story. So I went to the pub, only local pub that I have in the area, with my friend, and wanted to buy a glass of wine, and they said, show me your ID. And I said, yes, all right, but can I show you like a photo, or we have like a digital governmental app in Ukraine, and you can even cross the border with just this app to show you documents there. And the bartender said, no, I need a physical ID, otherwise I'm not selling you anything, any alcohol. Absolutely shocking. I've never seen something like this anywhere before, and I lived in Poland, I lived in Ukraine, I lived in Montenegro, and I never encountered something like this. And then he says, no, you should bring your ID. And I thought, come on, it can't be that strict. It's just a Friday night. It should be fine. So when my friend arrived, I asked him to buy 2 glasses of wine, and he did. They didn't ask him for ID. And then we were sitting in the garden drinking our wine, and then the manager came over and he said, you broke the rules of our pub, so you have to leave now. I was absolutely shocked, because I understand if he came over and said something like, it was bad of you, don't do it again, or something. But to kick me out, to say you're not permitted to stay here just because you did this. And I said, wait, please don't do this. I will bring my ID. I live like 15 minutes walk from here. I'll bring you my ID. And he said, no, you should have done it before asking your friend to buy you wine. You broke our rules. It's so, I mean, I understand I wasn't a good girl here, but come on, what if my friend just went to the bar and bought 2 glasses of wine? No one would do anything just because I tried to buy it first. It's very annoying actually. And so he just kicked us out, and he said we need to leave now, and we wasn't allowed to even, like finish this drink. And so I asked my friend to go back inside and talk to the bartender. When he went out, he said, well, they will forgive you and you can come back on different day, another day, but for tonight you are banned from this pub. You can't come back even with ID. So yes, in England, make sure you bring your ID or driver license, like anything that can prove your age, and it has to be a physical card, and you need to bring it everywhere, because they are not allowed to sell to people who are under 25. Yes, also another thing, you can be arrested, like this in England. Lots of men that you will meet, they have someone who was arrested and held in custody for like 12 hours or more or less, or it could be even your friend. And you have to be very careful, because anything you say in England, if it's racism or can offend other people, their sexuality, their race, their religion, you can be arrested. I know about a case when, actually not one case, but lots of cases when football fans were arrested for just singing chants. The chants that they've been singing forever, and it was never a problem, but now they have been picked out and arrested, and it can just, ruin your life and take a lot of money from you if you will try to protect yourself. And so you have to be very careful about what you say and how you behave, and try not to break the rules. Well, I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just something that surprised me, because obviously we don't have anything like this in Ukraine. The thing that surprised me about England the most, number 5, and this is Sunday roast and Indian on Saturdays. Yes, I absolutely love this tradition, because in Ukraine, women always cook, and it's a headache. Oh, what to cook on this day, what to cook on that day. And in England, it's so wonderful, because it's sorted. On Saturdays, you have Indian, and on Sundays, you have Sunday roast. What surprised me is Indian. I never tried Indian cuisine before moving to England, because in Ukraine, you have like lots of restaurants of Georgian cuisine, or even Japanese. Sushi are very popular in Ukraine, really, like on every corner. But when it comes to Indian, no, we don't. We have like, I don't know, maybe 1, 2. I don't even know if there is any Indian restaurant in my city, Dnipro. So for the first time in my life, I tried Indian and I love it. And now it's tradition. Almost every Saturday we go to Indian restaurants. And actually it's very nice, because the price in Indian restaurants is better than in just a regular restaurant in England. And what's interesting is the sauces for Sunday roast. I had no idea before I moved to England that with pork you eat applesauce. and with lamb you eat mint sauce. I remember when I had my first roast in a pub in Yarmouth, in Isle of Wight, the waiter brought the plate, the food, and then he has to eat mint sauce. And I was like, mint sauce? Why would I eat mint sauce with meat? And then, thank God, I was with my friend and he said, yeah, bring us some mint sauce. And that's how I learned that actually every English family has an applesauce and a mint sauce in their fridge. Yeah, it's quite interesting and I love it. I love the cuisine. So these are the things that surprised me the most in England so far. But obviously there are many more things that I found interesting, because the first days I really felt like an Alice in the Wonderland. And even sometimes now I'm like, this whole new world that I'm exploring. I'll try to keep sharing my insights and hopefully it will be interesting for you and useful maybe to listen. So if you like this content, please subscribe, put the thumbs up, leave the comment. So right, see you in the next episode. Bye!